Good evening. This is a meeting of the Cemetery Commission, July 24th, 2018. And we have a guest here this evening from our water department. Hopefully that we can have a little discussion about how we can bring a little more water to our planting desires.
Okay.
And we have Mr. Sullivan here.
Do you want to come over here, Bob?
Sure.
Okay. I thought this would be easier to do. We had a map printed out.
Okay.
Do you want to come on over here too, Betsy? All right.
Is this
so-
like the proposed section?
Yeah, I'm going to say right here.
Yeah.
Okay, because this is the old part over
Right.
here. So we're talking about irrigation. So now I know about the spigots and all that.
Yeah, you have one somewhere over
Around
here.
the, yeah.
Right there. You got it listed on there. See it?
Okay, all right,
So
okay.
there's one there. And you got 4 more down this road.
Okay, Shirley, you want to take it from here and show them exactly
Yeah,
what
what
you're
we've
worried
got
about?
are, the trees are not on here, are they?
The what? The trees?
Our new trees.
Yeah,
They're up here.
they're up along the side.
They're up here, yeah. So if we want to enhance, right now, we're hoping to enhance this property, this new area, all right? We can't get stuff to grow there.
And this here too, that with the sun beating down on it, as it was explained, the way the sun beats down on this right now, if we don't have irrigation constantly, we're not going to
When
be
we
able
need
to
it.
grow,
In other
when we
words,
need it, yeah.
we thought
We're not going to be able
some
to
kind
grow
of
grass.
water control, in other words, not constantly running, or what we've had is Boy Scouts coming up every day and watering,
Water.
right? Which is not anything that's going to last forever. So if we want to do more tree planting and to hold the soil and the growth in the soil, then the only way we're going to do that is more water. In other words, a timer or something like that, in the evening or, 5 o'clock in the morning or whatever's
Yep.
recommended for growth.
Because we have a water ban that we put in effect every summer.
That's right.
That says you
So
can't
we'd
do
have
any
to.
of that,
That's
so
right.
it-
So we'd have to work around that,
Yeah. So
And if we get a head start on it, on the growth,
once
then
you
we
get
can
it,
hold the soil.
Yeah, once you get it established, it'll be fine.
Yeah. So anyway, that was basically the access. What we had in the past was a hose that came from, I can't remember which one it was, the hose that Dewey put in.
Either one back here or this one. one or the
Yeah,
other.
we hooked up and just had the hose so that we would be able to root soak
Yeah,
these trees and these plantings. So now we would like to, have further plantings and enhance that area
Okay.
so that we get growth and we don't get the erosion. We've got to stop that.
Say, is this part of it?
Huh?
I thought the cemetery ended over here.
that's where the brown house is.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
But
this
they're
is
gonna
town property.
demo?
and-
Are they going to demo it?
I would hope so. I mean, the shingles are off of
There's
it.
nothing you can do with it, I know.
whatever. But it's town property.
Well,
So
to
in
keep
other words-
those Rose of Sharons and that going too, because they're beautiful plants,
Yeah.
bushes.
I have one of those in my yard.
Yeah, if we can get them over towards here, we're going to try. So basically, that's, in other words, in an area that is suitable to enhance this here
All right.
with our...
Would we put more spigots? Would we put a water line in?
I don't know. I mean, that's up to you. I mean, technically, we banned irrigation systems. So you're not supposed to put like a permanent irrigation system in?
Okay.
But you could put a temporary one.
So
Yes.
how do we
I
do
talked to
it?
Doug Needham about this, and
Why
he
did you
drew up a
ban
whole
them?
plan. He drew up a whole plan of how you can irrigate this with battery operated, and then he pulls them out again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So you'd have like the spigot here, and I have them at my house, they're just battery operated.
Yep.
Yeah.
You thread it right on, and then the hose comes out of there. And
Yep.
I've got one that has 4 different spigots, and I can control each one.
That's right,
so
yeah.
You mean
run
no
one
more
and then another
underground
one.
sprinklers?
And he did go down and talk to John Furno about it,
Yeah.
about putting in a new line and where he thought they should be.
So does he have a,
He might be here tonight, but he
Okay.
has a quote. But he did walk around with me because I showed him all the erosion. He talked about that a lot. I walked it with Bill Cundiff, and Bill Cundiff said, I don't really know enough about this. You need a landscaper to come in and do soil assessments and that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
the only one that came up to look out of the 4 that I called was Doug Knightum. And he went through the grounds, he talked about erosion maps, packs that he puts down to dig out this, put that down. And he said the only way you're gonna keep any grass down is to have that battery op it a little and then he pulls them out again in the fall.
yeah,
So,
yep,
and just in certain areas that you want to establish, not like the whole thing.
yeah, yep. And then, once you get it going and,
Yep,
it's probably 4 to 6 weeks before you actually get it halfway decent established. Up until that point, you gotta water every day or,
right. He said to
you'll-
put loom down or anything else down, without that, it's just gonna wash down into the,
yep,
yep.
yeah, it's gonna end up washing away.
Because right now he says you have sand.
And just so you know, the water ban.
Well, we've augmented it for the last 20 years.
That's one of the exceptions, is you can water to establish new lawn.
Okay,
So that is an exception that's acceptable to DEP,
New growth.
new
New growth,
to establish
yeah.
new lawn.
Yeah.
Or growth, yeah. So if you have a kind of a layout where,
He I'm
said-
hoping he will be here tonight. He's supposed to be drawing up
All
something,
right,
this is kind of
and
quick.
We'll wait and see what happens here.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, if you said you already went down and talked to
He
John.
went out and talked to John Furno about putting in like one new line, but he had little things that he could draw out from that one line, and then you can pull it back. Oh, sorry, Shirley.
Yeah, I mean,
Pull
we
it back
can-
up again.
I mean, depending on how you want to go, and, if you can have John come up and dig it,
Right.
and we can run the line down. So it's just a matter of whether you want to go this way with it, or come off of this one and go out this way.
Yep.
You just got to let us know where you want to put them, and John digs it, we can lay them out.
Okay.
And then you
Yep.
probably just have to get some more of those yard hydrants. Those, like the spigots that you have out there now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I thank you for coming,
So-
and I didn't know that there were some other arrangements.
No, we
so-
were not aware of it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bothered you, I'm
Well,
sorry.
like I said, I talked to Bill Cundiff, and he said, I don't know anything about landscaping, so
Yeah.
call a landscaper. He said, okay.
Yeah, and you set the timer.
We have a couple.
You really want to water at night anyway, because
Yeah.
when you water during
It's
the day,
limited,
those
because
water,
I don't,
the water
don't water
droplets
anymore.
end up magnifying the sun, and it works like a magnifying glass. You end up burning everything.
Dave? Hi, nice to meet you.
I mean, he talked about erosion
and
mats,
sit down.
mats that he puts down to prevent everything going down,
Yep.
so.
Yep.
You guys.
all right, so how do you want to leave this? We'll get,
Well, I would simply suggest that we wait to hear, since Betsy seems to have run with the project, give us some kind of a report, get us a report
Okay,
for our next meeting, August 21st, so we can all sit down and discuss it.
okay.
But just so you know, in the future, that's why we try to set it up so all 3 of us can go together,
Well, I
for
was hoping he
future.
would be here. He might still come.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying that for future things, that we all go together.
Oh, okay.
All righty?
And you probably don't want to try to get grass going now, because it's too hot and none of it'll grow. You just get weeds.
Okay.
Fall,
No, it's
fall's
either
a
the
good
fall-
time. Yeah, if you do it in the fall
Yeah,
and get
right.
it started, then it comes
Yeah.
in better in the spring.
and in the spring, we have to wait for the ground to thaw, so.
Yep. All right, I'm probably gonna run around here.
But I
see
appreciate
what other
you
meetings,
coming.
And I'll swing back in if he shows up, and
Okay.
before I head out, I'll just peek my head in and see if he's here.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Have a good one.
Okay, this is Dave Plumadon?
Yeah, Plumonton, yes.
Plumadon with the local, I don't know what your official title is.
So, so I am past master. So the lodge works pretty much the same way that any board does. Is we have like a rotating chairperson. So I was.
That's handy.
Yeah. So I was master. I think 4 or 5 years ago. I'm also the seated assistant secretary because the lodge is just merged.
Okay.
All right, I have a question.
Yeah.
You know, we're the cemetery commission, so we, to be honest, I don't know anything about your organization. In other words, if they have a mission that they participate in other words, the reason for your organization. You know,
Community projects.
most organizations have a mission. And so you do have community projects that you do or are interested in?
So the lodge, primarily the way we give back to the community is through college scholarships. So we, every year for the past, I think 20 years, we were giving out 2 scholarships to children in Douglas who
Yeah.
graduated in high school. We added a 3rd one for kids from Douglas that go to BVT. And now that we've merged with the lodge in Millbury, there's another 5 scholarships that go out to kids in Sutton and Whitensville and just the general Blackstone Valley area.
Okay. We have a situation where we have very little funds and a lot of work to do with a lot of maintenance and refurbishing and trying to upgrade cemeteries. And we have on our South Street property a very important piece of Douglas history. It's a family that lived here and was buried here. And it displays that they were obviously, members of this organization. And so our question to you would be, in other words, would you be interested in assuming some responsibility for this gravesite? It's a good-sized plot, actually. It's probably the size of, maybe a little smaller than this diameter.
It's a family plot.
Yeah,
got
there's a
the
lot of
oblique.
names.
Is this the one in the old cemetery that's down by the Rhode Island border?
Yes.
Yes, Sibley.
Yes.
So
The
I-
family
Sibley.
name is Sibley, yes.
It's right in the front.
I think I've gone by and stopped because
Yes.
I've seen that. And I did look up in the lodge records for Sibley, and there was no Sibley in the lodge records, but as a secretary, I can only see the records for our lodge.
It's not, yeah.
Right, but I can send a request to the grand secretary, and he can do research for the Sibley family.
Okay.
It's quite possible the Douglas Lodge grew out of the lodge in Solomon's Temple, which is in downtown Northbridge. Mm-hmm. So it grew out of that lodge. So it's entirely possible that whoever the Sibley member was a member of the Solomon's Temple Lodge, or they could have been a member of the lodge in Rhode Island. But that's something I can just send a records request
Yeah.
and find out where they were
Yeah.
actually from.
Right now, it's not in good shape. The architecture itself isn't bad. It does need a good cleaning. It's the layout of the perimeter. In other words, there's a lot of invasive material there. We don't have a groundskeeper. Basically, we rely on, volunteers and some stuff that can be addressed by the mowers that we have, but we don't have anyone that is contracted to take care of it. So the thought that we had would be that bit by bit, that we would see if we could connect some of these larger family plots with an association such as yours, that maybe some manpower
do you have pictures, or could you kind of explain more the nature of the work that needs to be done? I mean, were you just talking weed whacking?
Okay,
or-
no, it's not just weed whacking there. Unfortunately,
That's okay.
Yeah, we did have pictures.
there are, what are they called, those plants? Not yucca, something with the Y, I think,
Oh,
that
yeah.
have to be pulled out. It's a mess. And while our mower does do a good job, they're not going to go in around by stones and
Yeah, well, they don't get
everything
paid
like
to do
that.
that.
Sure.
Yeah. That's nasty stuff to deal with.
So I am in the process of trying to get together people on a volunteer basis where we can go and clean stones, clean the cemetery. But if we can get, like, for instance, the Sibleys were Masons, where one of the Masonic temples could come in, you know, and care for people that were Masons for their.
I think it's a one-time thing. I don't think it would be something that you would be committed to.
No,
You know, 3 or 4 times a year or something like that.
So I can tell you right now that one of the things that we are required to do as Masons is to take care of widows and family members. So if I knew more on the nature of the work, which I'm sure we can follow up or whatever.
Yes, by all means.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't think it would be an issue with getting a few of the guys together to do a general cleanup.
Yeah. Would there be an issue, for instance, if this family couldn't be discovered to be a Douglas
No.
family? No?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
all right, I have your email.
Yeah,
So everything that I have, I can email to you.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can find out more about the family. I can probably stop by.
And if you stop by, you can't miss it because we have 2
Right on the
beautiful.
left-hand side.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 2 cast iron gates, beautiful gates. We've had those refurbished and rehung and repaired. And it is to the center, so it's a little bit left of that center gate.
I'm pretty sure I know the one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a prominent one. It has a beautiful obelisk, and the names of the family members are on all 4 sides. So it would be nice to have it enhanced, you know?
Yeah. No, that's
So if
certainly
you
within
can-
the realm of something that I think we could help you out with.
Bring it up.
Yeah.
And we can keep in touch with you
Yeah.
to see if you're doing okay with volunteers.
No.
Right?
It was actually kind of funny. I tried to contact you guys maybe a year ago because I know that in our lodge records, somebody had bequeathed us
Oh,
a plot, and we don't know where it is. We have it listed that the lodge owns 6.
Wow.
Yeah, we just don't know where. We don't know
if you
what's.
can give me the name of the person, excuse me, the email, just shoot
Yeah.
back to me the name of the person that bequeathed it. And perhaps from there I can,
Because we're not even sure if somebody from the lodge was buried in that plot. It was given to the lodge for any destitute brother that might need.
That's
you know,
right. That's
yeah,
right.
That's what it was for.
Yeah,
we,
if
we
they
don't
can't
know.
afford a lot. Yeah.
We don't know who's there. If it's
all
empty
right.
or.
Well, you know what, like I said, just email me the name and I'll do my homework and I'll let you know.
Absolutely. That'd be good.
Sometimes we find nothing,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, it's kind of a hit and miss affair.
I gotcha.
But we can keep trying, you know.
Well,
But I thank you for coming and your
Yes.
interest. I'm encouraged. I think 6 months ago I was discouraged, but
No, I have done personally myself. I've gone out to widows' houses and cleaned up their yards. You know,
gee, my husband didn't belong to the Masons, but you want to come?
I'm a
sorry,
widow.
I had
I'm a widow.
I had to throw that. I'm sorry. I had,
it's okay.
You
It's
opened the
okay.
door. You opened the door.
But I am going to follow up with the Grand Lodge, trying to find out more about the Sibley family.
Okay, and
Yeah.
like I said, you will email me the
Douglas.
other. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they could have been down in Rhode Island, but
That's possible. That's
Well,
highly possible.
We've got contact with a good photographer, so if we get those names too, close-ups of those names.
Yeah.
Yeah, and dates.
I mean, do you have a problem with me doing a chalk?
No, not at
version?
all.
Okay.
No,
I get the names of it.
believe
Okay.
me. All the
You know what else?
attention, all the attention we can get.
Do you know what else works good too? Aluminum foil. Have you used that?
No, no kidding, no.
Aluminum foil. I have a book about, different ways to, and because apparently with excessive charcoaling, something can happen to the stone. But they say that with aluminum foil, and I did that with an old stone, and it really worked well. I mean, you'd go through a lot of foil, but it does work.
I just need one name, that's all I need.
Call the Reynolds Wrap people, right?
Okay.
Tell them that, right? Put it in their commercial. Yep.
So that's good then.
So we'll keep in touch.
Okay, thank
That's
you
good.
very much.
I'm happy about that, very happy. And we'll get you pictures.
That'd be good. That's
Definitely.
great, very much.
Yep.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
Nope, that's it.
Okay,
That's it.
All right.
all right.
Thank you.
ladies.
Thank you, dear.
Good night.
Have a good night.
I should have introduced you. I didn't.
It's all right.
I've never.
It's fine. Don't
I
worry
don't
about
think.
it.
I don't think Debbie met him either.
No,
So he was new to us.
it took me a year to finally get to see a
All right.
face from him.
Tell me his name, please.
Dave. Wait a minute, I'll give you the exact spelling of his name.
I don't want to say, hey, you know.
P-L-A-M-O-N-D-O-N.
They're all N's.
There's one M, it's P-L-A-M.
The last one is an M?
No. The first one, it's
Oh, my goodness.
P-L-A-M.
Planon.
Plamondon.
Oh. I've never heard that name.
See, these were all the conversations I had back and forth with
I wonder what ethnic name that would be. Greek?
French.
I have no clue.
I've never seen a name like that.
Okay, let's get on
Dumb.
with the agenda. Okay, the next thing is the minutes of the 6/19 meeting. Betsy, you said you read them? Shirley, have you read the minutes?
No.
Okay, you want to read them?
Geez, how did you finally reach someone at the Masons? Because they returned the mail.
I did my homework.
I wouldn't know where to go.
I told you, I ended up messaging them through Facebook. And then I got a hold of David Peterson, and he gave me Dave's email address.
Oh,
Yeah, I told
okay.
you that, and I emailed him. Okay, so I make a motion that the minutes of 6/19/2018 be approved as written.
So moved.
Betsy, do you second?
Yes.
She can't because she
Oh,
wasn't
no, she
here.
wasn't. Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Done.
All right, give me a second here. Okay, the next order of business, sorry, Shirley. Betsy, at our last meeting, I had brought up, we discussed price increase of the plots. It has not been raised in many, many years, and I felt that due to the increase in pricing for everything else, that we raise it up to, right now it's $1,000 for a double plot. And I feel raising it up to $1,500, and compared to other cemeteries, because I did do my homework, that we're right up there, actually lower than some. So if you agree, I'd like to make a motion that we increase the plot price from $1,000 to $1,500.
How big is a plot?
It's a double plot.
Okay, and that's for just the caskets, right?
Yes.
Well, that's fine.
Okay.
You can
You
raise it up
okay
to
with it?
2,000 for all I care.
Huh?
Raise it up to 2,000.
Okay, so you second the motion?
My family's all cremated.
Okay, Shirley?
So moved.
Okay. Next order of business is the receiving tomb. The person that you dealt with is not here, correct, Betsy?
He is not.
Okay. You want to pass that down to Betsy? Just so you know, these are meetings, these are notes from the meeting that we had. This is pictures to show you work that was done on the receiving tomb.
Okay.
And these are just notes that were made when we discussed it at the meetings. In 420, we were told to have an analysis of wall material and paints to determine how to treat them. Brenda, and she is from Find a Grave, from Gravestone Girls, knows someone in both New Orleans and Connecticut that can help with the definition of pictures and such on the walls. When a conservator is found and they have reassessed the tomb, then the commission can prioritize what and when things need to be done. She also suggests that the doors and hinge work could give us an idea of the age of the tomb. She also suggests that we look into the State Historic Commission for possible grants to help us with this project. And from the 8/16/2016 meeting, they said that because it is not a crypt, our project has gone from restoration to preservation. The commission agrees that we should photograph and clean up the walls the best that we can so we can create a history of the tomb for the future. This will also include any and all repairs that have been done to the tomb. Shirley has expressed an interest in visiting the Menden Crypt. And from that point on, nothing has been
Well,
done.
we
part
have
of because-
issues with soil, so what we're trying to do with the few dollars that we have is get high-quality soil
Right.
and organic material.
Until you
Because
get that
nothing-
water in there, he said it's a waste of time to do anything. Until you because if you can't water that.
That's right.
And he
That's
wanted
right.
he wanted to set it up for just the tomb area. He said, you've got to take some of that sand out and put loam. And then he puts what he calls erosion mats down. And an irrigation system that he puts in the spring and he takes out again in the fall. They're not
Yeah.
permanent.
He did work on the tomb?
No, he said this is what he would do.
Oh, okay.
Nobody did any work on the tomb. No one touched it. No one looked at it.
No,
one
I'm
even
just,
went near
we
it.
did put fresh loam and organic material at that time. At
On the
time,
tomb?
yeah.
It's probably, it's long gone.
Well, that was probably 6 years ago. You know,
can
those
show you.
pictures. No, but it goes.
Sand.
It's all the time, and
I know.
it
Did
just
you
is
put
all the
anything
time.
in writing together?
Nope.
All right, we need something for the, you know.
He's going to do something in writing.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need documentation, that's all.
Right.
So that, because
I mean,
when we
these are
came on
pictures.
board, nothing, you know,
Yeah, like I say, that's why usually we try to, just for the future, we try to schedule it so at least two, if not, if all three of us can't, at least two of us can go, you know, and check these.
Over. He also said he could repair that gate. He did all the work on the Crane Estate in Ipswich. But yeah, these are the ones that have all fallen over.
yeah. Well, what happens, and we'll give you a little synopsis of what we've been able to do.
That's what your tomb looks like, because the
With-
mowers also are just stripping it bare.
Can I see that, Shirley?
You know, as much as I know you don't want to hear anything bad about the mowers.
No, it's.
No.
That's what it looks
I mean,
like.
they just, that's right.
When I look at I'll be honest, when I look at the tomb, I look at it from the front and right
Right.
back here. I've
Right.
never seen,
Yep.
I'm not
all
gonna
We
the
lie.
did,
sides.
when we put the soil in, we did.
I wasn't here when you
That-
put the soil in.
No,
You put
but,
it in just before.
When we did do some repair work on it, we did it, you know, inside with the gate, with the door, rather.
That's the Wallace area where the broken
Yeah.
rods are. And there's a stump there that has to be dug out. He also said he
Who is
could,
it that you spoke to? I
Doug
just,
Nydam. He also said he could take all the stumps out on the front and eradicate all that poison ivy.
NYDA?
NYDAM, of
Oh,
Nydam Landscaping. It's out of
See, we
Oxford.
don't, the problem that we have is funding.
Correct.
All kinds of things we can do, Betsy.
Well, see what he comes up for a price, you
Yeah.
know?
Yep,
He said if you wanted to, he said you could do the tomb and the, like now, and then wait a couple of years and then repair this thing. He said, because he could do that too. He said with an epoxy and steel rods, you
Right.
put all
We
these
can-
back
that's
together
right.
again.
and that's what we've been doing over we did those gates. It took us 3-4 years to do 2 gates,
Right.
you know?
Excuse me, 2 sets of gates.
2 sets.
2
all right.
sets of gates.
Yeah. And it was a threefold thing, wasn't it? 2 people were involved in it, stripping it and dipping it, and then repairing the hinges and the blocks, you know. So, you know, those things, you're talking $2,000 and $3,000, which of course, usually we only have like $50 left over. So our budget is not.
Who's our treasurer? Who's the treasurer?
Right now I
the
am.
town?
Oh, okay. No, for the cemetery.
Oh.
No, I'm keeping.
It was Lori,
Okay.
but you're it now.
Oh,
Well, right now I'm doing it to get us started. That's why with
Well,
our...
it just makes it easier than handing over, having one come and the other
No,
one.
I understand that. Mowing, that's why I spoke to Brian and I said, you know, I would appreciate a phone call or a text message, myself or Betsy, who's ever on, you know, before you mow, because we have to,
No,
well then, Shirley, our entire budget will go this year strictly to mowing.
that's right.
And we won't be able to do anything
That's
else
right,
in the
exactly.
cemetery.
And that's exactly the situation that we have.
Okay,
And the town is going to have to realize that,
all right.
you
did we
know?
vote on that? Is that something we voted on? That the entire budget goes toward mowing?
No, but that's
No,
what
but I mean,
happens.
you're
expensive
talking,
prospect.
you're talking about,
$8,000 for mowing alone?
so what do you think that it should be?
I don't know, but the couple people that I talked to thought that was very high.
$14.50 it costs us for the 3 cemeteries each time he mows. Up until, well, that was just recently. Before that, it was $9.50.
For the last 11 years,
And how often does he mow?
when it needs it.
When he thinks it needs it.
That's right. And
Every week.
therefore, we have, no, not at all.
Well, I tell you, I can see him there almost every week. I'm in there almost every week, I will tell you, and I do see him in there.
He doesn't charge us for that then.
Good.
We can, if you would like, entertain asking for bids from someone else or other people.
I don't know.
Well, we
I
can do
mean, we
that.
could discuss it after the, because we've already renewed, per se, the last bid we had with him
Well,
for
I-
the
Contract with
season.
You know, I think that
A signed contract?
you would have to have a good reason,
don't know, I think
you know, not to have this person personally. But I do say that from the experience that we had the last time, we had 7 people come out, 7 contractors.
Okay, how long ago was that?
Oh, a good 10 years.
Okay, since
So,
then,
so in other
companies-
words, we could do that again.
I think personally it would be a good idea. And I already have a bid written because I used to write bids, that perhaps in January, we can put a bid out and just entertain, you know, or even November, we can put a bid out and entertain.
What happens is they come out and look at what the workload is. In other words, what the description of where they have to mow. Because we had a bad situation before that when we had to fire someone for the damage they did. And we were left high and dry. And of course, the highway department is not going to mow for us. We have to have our own,
No, I know that.
all right?
He has enough
So
manpower
what,
for that.
what happens is, they come and they view the 3 cemeteries to see the workload. And what happened then was all 7 didn't want anything to do with it. So when they view the terrain, I think it has to do, and that's what they indicated to us. The terrain is difficult.
It is.
It's not an easy day's work. We have had no issues since we've had these people, none whatsoever. Other than the fact we had a call this year, what was it, a month or 2 ago, to ask us when they were going to mow.
We received several. I
because
did,
they
John
were
Furno did,
started.
Gene
Grass
Lovett
was
did.
long.
That,
They were
well,
complaining.
because they normally mowed the week before Memorial Day, and it was, you know, just days before the weekend, and it hadn't been mowed yet, and people who had relatives buried in the cemeteries were concerned, which they had every right to call, and they were told it would be mowed on Friday, and it was indeed mowed on Friday. That Friday.
Yeah.
You can't mow when it's pouring rain.
Nope.
You know, you can't mow when it's extremely wet. Because God knows we don't have enough grass to stay in the ground as it is. So we don't want to be ripping what we have up.
Bill Cundiff did say it was very short, whoever is mowing a lot. He said the grass was very short, and he said the blades were chopping at that grass. They weren't cutting it like the blades.
I don't think Bill is knowledgeable enough to
Well,
judge
and
that.
that's why he suggested I
Yeah,
get a landscaper
right.
to look at, a professional person. So.
Because
that's
when
what
you've
it is.
got this kind of terrain, in other words, this is not ideal.
No,
It's not like my front lawn or somebody else's front lawn. It is not ideal at all because of the variations of the growth that you have. It's not what you'd consider grass to be mowed, basically. 90% of it is telescoping grass, which
crabgrass.
just what you do is you pull all the roots up. So you're not ever going to have anything nice. But if, as I said, if you think that that's too much money to pay, then.
I don't know. I mean, I have no idea what landscapers cost or
Well, I
whatever.
tell you what, because we could sit here and talk about this all night. For now, I mean, that's it. Come November, December, I do have, you know, we can sit down and talk about it at that time. Can we move on to the next item?
Yep,
Okay, that is the poison ivy.
yes, and that's been taken care of.
Okay.
Also, the,
Is it just in
Poison ivy where?
Pine Grove?
Oh, you should see it up at Douglas Center.
It should be called,
yeah,
Oh,
but
it's
there's
huge.
there's no people that get it in their house.
no, Pine Grove Cemetery should be called Poison Ivy Cemetery.
No, it's close. It's here. The poison ivy is here, and the people's kitchen table is here.
Here.
Oh, boy.
They had it in, what was it, in their window the one year?
Well, they were affected.
Or close to
They were
it.
affected by it, so we take care of that every year.
Okay, the next issue is...
But he also,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, he also took care of, if you want to make a note of it,
Sure.
the enhancement to the trees that were planted
Oh, right, in Douglas.
before, and there was a date on that. Was it 15? 2015?
No, 16. I think.
16?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because Lori was here when he planted them.
And the pines. We have a Pine Grove Cemetery with no pines. So we planted some pines,
It looks really
Seedlings.
good.
Yeah.
Really good.
and they've taken well, and it's worked well.
Okay, the next thing is our website. You got your papers, Betsy
I do.
and Shirley? Okay. The first thing is, of course, under current commissioners, take out Lori's name and put in Betsy Youngsma. Betsy, by any chance, do you use a middle initial?
Nope.
Okay. Under burial information, Douglas Center Cemetery across from the town common is the only town cemetery with plots for sale. That has to be put in there because I received a phone call from someone who works under Evergreen Cemetery because they said the way it was worded, it sounded like no other cemetery had plots for sale.
Evergreen is private.
Yeah,
Right.
so is St. Anne.
Yep, it is.
The commission currently sells that at the cost of, and I put to be determined, and now we can change that to
Who's the burial agent?
$1,500. Payment can be made through the funeral director handling the arrangements, and then in parentheses, payment must be a separate check from funeral costs. Deed of ownership will be mailed when payment is received, to add that. If you are interested in purchasing a plot, contact John Furno by calling and his cell number to set up an appointment to view available plots. Douglas
You
said...
give, excuse me, you
What?
give out his cell phone number?
That's the number he told me to give out.
Oh, okay.
No, I
All
checked
right,
that with
okay.
John.
Because I always call him,
Yeah, no, I understand that.
and I
John, he
just
said I
say,
can-
these
no.
are people that need,
He said I can give his number out to
Okay.
set up an appointment to view available plots. Betsy, just so you know, we do that because for people to come in here, they'd only have to go back out to meet him anyway, so.
Okay.
And Douglas Center Cemetery does not handle green burials at this time. They can be sent to speak to Jerry Jackman because he is knowledgeable about them,
Nice.
even though we don't handle them. I added water is turned on in May. I believe the week before Memorial Day, and it's shut off in October, I believe Columbus Day. Plot maintenance information, I added proprietor has the right to cultivate and maintain shrubs on side of stone only. Height will not surpass 2 inches from top of headstone, which was already there. If shrubs plants are not maintained, the cemetery commission has the right to remove said shrubs plants at their discretion. I added no decorative items of any kind. This includes, but not limited to, balloons. And Shirley, if you'll remember, these were all rules that we had agreed upon a while back.
yeah. But if there's any changes, you know,
Except
then,
applicable holiday decorations are permitted at gravesite and will be removed by the cemetery commission. Any lights or decorations that the grave owner may put up for holiday decoration must be removed within 30 days, or the cemetery commission has the right to remove them. Lights of any kind are not permitted any other time. And then lastly, if you have any questions related to Douglas Center Cemetery, Pine Grove Cemetery, or South Street Cemetery, please feel free to call Mondays through Friday, 9 to 5. There's Shirley, there's Debbie, and then Betsy, I need your number.
It's 508-476-2065.
508-476,
2065.
okay. And that's it. Okay,
where is this, remember the commentary we had
what page are you on, Cheryl?
here, plot maintenance,
Okay.
about metal stakes? Has that been removed, or
No, that was.
it's still,
put
it's just an
under-
addition?
Yeah, it's with no decorative items of any kind, and it was worded, this includes but not limited to balloons.
All right, because the issue that we talked about with the metal stakes
Right.
was the danger of it being caught in the blades of the mower.
All right, so what about down here where it says, second to last line, no fences, regardless of what type of material, and I could put in, or metal stakes.
Well, you know what was happening is they
Oh,
were sticking
permitted it.
those, what do they call them? For hanging a pot,
Yeah,
a plant holder that was 4 feet high, a metal,
oh, it says it right here.
Where?
Artificial or fresh cut flowers can be placed in an invertible metal vase at any time. In other words, that's the only thing they can be put in. So that if we
All right,
do a
all right.
walkabout of the cemetery and we see, we have the right to take the metal stake out of the ground. But like I said, we can also, to spell it out, if you'd like, no fences regardless of what type or material, and in there I can add, or metal stakes of any kind are permitted at any time. Do you want me to do that?
well, that's kind of doubling up.
But it's right,
just
it's
says-
better to double up than somebody say, but it's not there.
Well, in other words, we've got at any time, permitted at any time, permitted any other time,
No, I don't have that.
right? Lights
Two
of any,
separate things.
yeah, I know, lights of any kind are not permitted at any
But you gotta
time.
spell it out. You have to spell it out. Because if you don't,
All right, whatever. What, do you have any comment?
None.
You're sitting there, you're not even
No, I
involved.
have no comment at all.
you're not participating.
I don't care about the metal stakes. Tell you the truth.
It's a real hazard.
To what? Do you ever go in the Douglas Center? They have lights up at night on everything.
I know, and they're
Yes, I
soon
know.
gonna be coming
It
down.
doesn't bother
They have
you?
balloons all over the place.
It doesn't bother you?
I mean, what are you gonna do? I'm not gonna touch them.
These are cemeteries, and yes, you wanna put flowers or something there, that's one thing. But if you wanna set up a shrine, do that in your backyard. Because sometimes people do get so with the decorations and the flowers that now you're encroaching onto other people's plots.
Well,
And
when
we
you have
have
a Christmas
received phone
tree.
calls.
When you have a Christmas tree in April with the
Yeah.
flashing lights on and the person who has their mother buried next to it, then you have to
People
take
complain
action.
about it,
Yes,
do they?
you have to take action.
We've gotten phone calls.
They don't like it, you know?
One woman called because her husband has a headstone, but he has a footstone because he was in the military. And there is a grave near her husband that every single time because, you know, the mowers would mow, and she did an extra little cleaning around the footstone. But the other stone was so decorated that his footstone was always covered by the decorations.
How often do you walk around the cemeteries?
In the good weather, as much as we can. Not so much in the winter, you know, unless there's an issue up there that, you know, needs looking at. The Pine Grove Cemetery we're fortunate because we have,
I
well,
don't see too much of
6
that.
residences there.
There are.
And those people
Elaine
are
walks.
very, very,
Yeah, I don't see any of that stuff done.
They're
And then
very-
There's only, in the Douglas Center, there's only that new section. There's none down in the South Street
No.
either.
no, it's in the news section.
It is.
But I think that, you know, it's like the South Street Cemetery. There are things that I think that, you know, a lot of things that can be done, but that's going to be another 10 years the way it's going, you know? We just don't have the wherewithal to get it done.
Right.
So you're sort of shoveling so-called shit against the tide. That'll be something for them to listen to.
What?
Shoveling shit against the tide.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I'd like to make a motion to accept the changes to the website as written.
I second it.
Shirley?
So moved.
Okay. Okay, is there any other old business? Shirley? Do you have any other old business? Betsy?
I have nothing.
Okay. Okay,
Do you want to do new business?
That's what I was going to say to you.
All right, okay. I'm sorry, I'm reading.
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me.
That's all right.
Sorry.
No.
No. New business.
New business.
Okay. Thought we did new business.
No, what did you think was
Well,
new
there's
business?
a lot of things, so.
Oh, okay. I don't
These
know
two
what they are.
gentlemen, this is old business
Oh,
because
okay.
the subject with Bob Sullivan as far as the irrigation, that's something
That's
that...
been ongoing for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Maybe even closer to 3. And as far as the Masons go, that's a 3-year issue too. New business, I put goals for fiscal year 2019. That's just, you know, where we could just sit and throw ideas around of what we'd like to. I know I'm continuing with my digitation thing. What I'm doing is going through Find a Grave and other things here, and I'm gonna put them on the town website.
All the graves?
Yes.
How are you going to put them on? What are you going to use for a platform?
What do you mean, what am I gonna use for a
Well,
platform?
you have to upload them to something.
Whatever the town's using. I'm gonna work with the guy who runs the stuff here.
Oh, okay.
So that this way here, instead of going, because I also found, it's funny, in starting to do what I'm doing, and I have the vital statistic books at home, because I'm making it a little bit more personal with the person when I list the name. Find a Grave has a lot of them wrong.
Some.
So, I was just surprised. Anything you can think of? I know your issue is the receiving tomb, right?
No, I don't think I brought that up at all. The top of the tomb, not the inside.
Well, that's what I mean,
No, but that came, you didn't. But if you
The
have,
losing of your sand and your dirt. The
Yeah.
mounds are still there.
yeah,
They're growing very nicely. They have
Yeah.
a whole crop of
it's
vegetation on them.
good soil.
Kids
It
could
is.
probably make a nice sandcastle.
you know?
And that, some of that is going on the tomb.
You can't put it on the tomb until you do something with it, though.
It's,
Because it'll just
Organic.
wash off.
it's organic material.
The tomb is just sand. All that sand is loose. He also said all that water and stuff is seeping into the cement, which seeps down inside.
Well, the soil, then they delivered the wrong stuff. They didn't put
I
sand.
think they did. I personally, I mean, I don't know a lot.
No, what I'm
but-
talking about, when we did the refurbishing of the tomb, all right, we had organic material put on that tomb, and there's pictures of it.
Right. I have them
So in
right
other
here.
words, what we're saying is that all the organic material's gone.
It's gone. It's just sand.
So we need more organic material, right?
I gave the picture. Do you still have them, Betsy? The pictures of the tomb?
Yep. Doug and I went in it. Oh, nope, I just have Shirley Mazinski bought a plot.
There they are.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, because here,
Yeah, I know. Cement holds a lot of water. He said every
Well,
time
I'm
it
saying-
rains and the cement goes, that cement holds a lot of water and then it seeps to the inside.
Anything else you would like to look forward to
no, well,
doing?
are you going to have someone come and make a presentation?
He's going to give me a quote. He's going to write up an entire thing.
No, but we don't want you to do it, we want him here.
We want him to come to the
I will
meeting.
tell him that.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
Well,
it's got to be televised.
okay.
Is that
And
right?
what we would like is, since you were the one that went to the meeting, if you could put,
What meeting?
you had the meeting with this
I
guy
met
at
with
the
Doug.
yes, and you met with Bill, if
Yep,
you could
I
please
did.
put it in writing so we could have something for the files.
Oh, that I met with Bill Cundiff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, you know, what was discussed and that,
It's just a paper trail for, when we came on board, not myself, actually, I'm the only one that, there was nothing. The ledger was handed over, and we had nothing. We had no minutes. We had absolutely nothing. So we had to start from scratch, and the first thing was minutes. And we had to, of course, go, as the routine said, we had to be televised. So we had to have our meetings recorded. So we had to get a file cabinet so that because the ledger was not kept in this building.
that's not a file cabinet, that's a square box.
So the file cabinet was handed around, and it was in bad shape. First thing we did is had it refurbished so that it was respined. They had been ripping out pages.
Nice.
It was bad. So we had some printing work done, and we had the ledger repaired. We had nothing for the Pine Grove Cemetery, nothing for the South Street Cemetery.
South
No
Street
town
Cemetery's
reports.
all been documented, though.
I'm talking about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You say,
So-
you mean it's been indexed?
South Street, yes.
Yeah,
So
it's not right, though.
what I'm saying is that the people
did it all
that come
wrong?
after you and me and
I'm
Debbie,
sorry.
I'll tell you what, we'll take a, if you'd like to, I'd be happy to take a ride with you down there.
Well, what's wrong about it?
A lot of the names.
They just made up names to put on?
What it is, for instance, where a lot of families have obliques, and then they have the stones, they're listing them elsewhere. Well, they're not, you know, it's just the way it's written, it's not right. It's very, very confusing to somebody who'd be reading it.
They put them on Find a Grave?
I
I
don't
think it's
know.
been done. I think the South Street's been
well,
done.
the situation, like, you know, what they did in those days is when family members would pass away, everyone had their own. And then, of course, as the family got a little more mature and they had all the dead people, what they did is put
On top of each other.
no, they had one stone. And they put everyone on the
The
stone.
names on it.
So now you've got these stones. I know, because in my house I have 5.
Yeah, they would put,
Five
they'd put all the
stones.
names on the oblique, but then
Children?
they'd put them again around.
Yeah. So,
So they
did
have
that.
them listed 2 and 3 times.
so yeah, it is confusing. But because people think, because they found these behind our barn, so of course people think, oh my God, you buried these people behind the barn? Well, no, they're buried up the street, right?
You never know, they could be in my backyard since I live in the house of the funeral director.
Yeah, that's true. You could have some bones, for sure.
Okay.
All right,
let's
next
move on to
meeting.
no, treasurer's report.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, our beginning balance for this year, this fiscal year of 2019 is $10,260, and on 7/16, a voucher was given to town accountant for A and B lawn mowing on 7-3 and 7-5 of Douglas Center, Pine Grove, and South Street, in the amount of $1,450, leaving us a balance of $8,810. And as far as incoming funds for 2019, on 7/16/2018, the check from Shirley Mazinski for the purchase of the cemetery plot at $1,000, I turned it over to the treasurer, Cheryl. And that's it. For the secretary's report, I have, and I know it's in here. I think it's in here. Okay, no, there is no, I'm sorry, there is nothing for secretary's report. I thought
She
there-
wasn't around?
No,
She took off somewhere.
secretary just bit the dust.
Huh?
The secretary just bit the dust. The next meeting, our next meeting is on 8/21.
Okay,
That okay with you?
that's fine.
Okay, what time?
It's
I either can
not,
make it
you
or I
know.
can't.
Okay, it's 8:05. I make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.
So moved. Good evening, everyone.